It just feels so good, you know, to be in nature. How to attain great success and fulfillment. And to me, the key is to be uncivilized. And if you look up the word civil, it means just barely nice to someone. Did you know that? To be a civil is to be barely nice to someone. Then you're a citizen who's civilized. So we're not truly joyful and happy and loving and empowering and enriching and woohoo, celebrating all that we are in the divine. No, we're civilized, domesticated, you see. And I think my friend said it was Kingsley who said most people there, I believe, I could be wrong, that the power animals are all domesticated, civilized, you see. And it's like, what do they do in the education system, teaching people to line up, to be civilized, to follow orders, to memorize, to completely be absorbed in the mind and the intellectualism and all of these ideas that are generated and created and man-made, basically, because you look at how many laws there are in a law library, and they're making more and more and more and rules. And what are they on? On paper, the papal, and it's written little squiggles, letters and numbers. You got all of this stuff. It's all calculated, categorized, all this. And if we just see, what would we do without that? You'd be you. You don't need to be civilized. Just the real path of great success and fulfillment is to, first of all, go beyond the belief of success and failure. Because life, we are life, and you're already what you call successful. You're not missing anything. Every single living entity has nothing to do with money. Their so-called social status has nothing to do with the physical body, has nothing to do with any of that. This is the essence of who you are, every single living entity, every single true being. And you know, true beings from the faults, in a sense, is that real human beings, they're not civilized. They're genuinely sweet, beautiful. They try, you know, it's like there's a realness with them. And they're not putting on airs. They're not putting on pretense. They're not parading around. And I'll tell you one of the things, when I had my ministry, and one of my dear friends, Gavin McLeod, and he was the captain of the Love Boat and such, and lovely, lovely person. Anyway, so he invited to ride with him in this parade in Hollywood. I think it's, I don't know what, Thanksgiving, Christmas, something like that. And there I was, so I was sitting, you know, in the open limousine or car, and you know, you're driving through the streets of Hollywood, and the people are all standing on the edge, waving and looking, and I was appalled at how the people there, the looks on their faces and the energy was as if us riding in these cars were better than they were. We had more than they had. They weren't good enough. They were, and I went, this is sick. And I just started bowing to people. I was like, come on, what is this that we have set up for ourselves to be civilized? It's almost like demonized, civilized, you know, conformized, all of this to give all the belief that the sacrifice of those who need to go for the good of the all, but in the true and the real, you sacrifice no one. No. And ultimately, the word sacrifice, in a sense, didn't mean blood, didn't need flesh, it torture. No, it was flowers, fruits, nuts, seeds, grains. With love. With love. I don't know if a lot of people don't realize that the last act, supposedly, of what it says that Jesus went through before the crucifixion. You know, we know stories, but we kind of look at what, there's always clues. And was he threw the money changers out of the temple, and what they were doing with the money, they were buying animals to slaughter. Yeah. It's cruelty. So civilized people are barely nice to each other because they're afraid of each other, because it's divide and conquer, because it's competition. They're going to get your job, they're going to get your mate, they're going to get your stuff, they're going to, you know, all of this. And the real sense of the great success and fulfillment is that you have nothing to attain. You're already there. And how are you using your winnings? How are you using your success and fulfillment? And when it takes a lot to really look deep within and to start letting go of all of those beliefs and agreements and contracts that we've made, and all these laws and rules and all of that, to really look to see what is natural law, in a sense, and the divine. And there's a divine order, and when we acknowledge the divine order, and I don't mean an artificial order based on force, based on profit and loss, based on, I'm not talking about that, based on life and death. No. These are constructs. These are constructs that we have the ability, that we make real and true because we say so. People say, how do you stand so strong in yourself? You have to. And every moment needs to be used that way, because every single moment of now, and now is you, and that's where the power is. And to really develop and devote yourself to the divine, to the spiritual, to who you are. And we get so caught up in all of this, trying to be the fake, trying to be a success, trying to get some satisfaction, trying to get when we already have it, but we're so in the mind and judging and analyzing and fearing and doubting and hoping and hopelessness and terror, and these are emotions. And these emotions are fuel, they're emotion, they're energy. They manifest, you see. This is all energy, manifesting, you see. This is the thought slowed down to the manifestation, you see. And that energy. So, be uncivilized and start to, and it's like, doesn't mean don't be appropriate or anything like that at all, but why just get by with crumbs, with moments of happiness, and then quiet desperation? Why? You have it, and start right where you are. You take off those shoes, maybe. Give yourself that freedom. You've got to take care of you. And when you take care of you in that way spiritually, you're going to be kind and loving to everybody because you know who they are. And you know who you are, you see. And so that's why I do these videos. That's why I teach and everything, because it's not everybody's ready. I don't know what that is, but you're ready. And that's who you work on. It is, you can't save the world. Forget this. Everybody's saved the world. That's to get you into this project and that. The very ones destroying it are telling you to save it. You stop that. Yeah, I know it's early morning and water, so there's little mosquitoes. They like us, so forget these guys. I've always thought that they were like taking blood samples and giving injections. I don't know, but mosquitoes. Anyway, so greatest success and self-satisfaction comes from being uncivilized and to really, really, really do the work that's necessary, because you're an eternal being and you cannot die. You better know who you are. and what's happening and how to attain. I always call it the topmost. And that doesn't mean according to world standards. It's according to the who you really are. And then everything works for you through basically divine magic. It's through the divine. And then when you get that, whoo, this is what we want. Yes. Be who you are, not civilized. Be you to the full.